Hello, everybody, and welcome to elPablo FC. Are Arsenal the official bottle jobs of the Premier League? Are they going to bottle the league for the next couple of weeks? Basically, it promises to be a super interesting week, a couple of weeks ahead. Manchester City, are they going to possibly creeping from behind to actually, try to win the league? We shall see. So it has been an interesting couple of games. I mean, basically, Matchweek 32 brought some really interesting games in this round, and we're here to kind of break it down because the truth is, it's one of those things where you have to just think about where this game is going to take us and all of that. The Premier League round of 32 just wrapped up with Man United facing Leeds at Old Trafford, but we'll start with the first game in the weekend, and then we'll leave the Arsenal, the Chelsea, Man City, and then the Man United game at the end of the video. So just stick with me and let's run through the first couple of games. So we start with West Ham versus Wolverhampton Wanderers, where West Ham facing fellow strugglers Wolverhampton Wanderers at home at the London at the London Stadium. Basically, West Ham climbed out of the Premier League relegation zone on as Valentin Castellanos and Konstantinos Mavropanos both scored twice in a 4-0 rout of Wolverhampton Wanderers. Mavropanos met Jared Bowen's cross with a towering header to put the Hammers ahead late in the first half, though the atmosphere at the London Stadium remained tense until beyond the half-hour mark. Now, two Castellanos quick goals in less than 2 minutes then took the contest away from Wolves, with their first being assisted by Pablo's flick, and then Mavropanos joined Castellanos in securing a brace with an acrobatic volley 7 minutes from time as the Hammers boosted both their points tally and their goal difference. The result leaves West Ham to 17th, with Tottenham Hotspur replacing them in the bottom three, while Wolves remain bottom and could be relegated as early as next week if they lose to Leeds. So it's going to be super interesting how the game pans out. Wolves faces Leeds next and all of that. Now we move on to the next game, because obviously at this point West Ham have kind of secured that win, and we'll talk about the table much later. The next game we're going to be looking at is Brentford versus Everton, and I think I predicted a draw in this game, but Brentford, actually Keenan Dewsbury Hall scored in second half stoppage time to salvage a 2-2 draw for Everton against fellow European contenders Brentford. And it's surprising to see that Everton are contending for Europe. Thiago kickstarted a rip-roaring Premier League contest with a cool 3rd minute penalty, but Everton deservedly leveled through Beto. Now, Brentford twice hit the crossbar before Dewsbury Hall squandered a golden chance to put Everton ahead, with Thiago deflecting in Mikel Coyote's strike. Moments later, Thiago getting the second goal. Thiago's fortuitous 76-minute goal seemed to have sealed a potentially vital win for the hosts at the GTEC Community Stadium. Yet, Dewsbury Hall atoned for his earlier miss with an emphatic finish in the first minute of stoppage time, keeping 7th place Brentford and Everton 1 place below in 8th, locked together on 47 points. Now, this is going to be an interesting run-in, especially for the Premier League, because this is the beginning of the run-in. Then the next game we have on our list is Burnley versus Brighton. I predicted that this game was going to go Brighton's way, with Brighton, potentially beating Burnley away at Burnley. Now, Matt Wyfer's double boosted Brighton and Hove Albion's Hove Albion's European ambitions as they claimed a 2-0 win over Burnley. The ninth place Seagulls also now just 1 point away from seventh place, which is set to bring European qualification for next season. Brighton have also found momentum at just the right time, with Saturday's win at Turf Moor marking their fifth in the last 6 league matches. Burnley, meanwhile, find themselves 12 points from safety and 6 games of their season remaining. The Clarets also could have their relegation confirmed next week should the results go against them, especially if Nottingham Forest win and Leeds win as well. Jadon Anthony and Bashir Humphreys had goals ruled out in either half of Scott Parker's hosts, who were undone by a sweeping move that was actually finished by Wi-Fi just before the break. And Brighton's Dutch fullback sealed the win in the 89th minute with a brilliant side-footed effort that, whistle past Martin Dubravka after good work from Kaoru Mitoma. So it's going to be super interesting how this game pans out, how this next couple of games, especially for Brighton, pans out. But then that is how Max Wi-Fi actually gets 2 goals and becomes player of the match. But it is what it is. Next game we are going to be looking at is the game between Liverpool and Fulham. And I was saying that Fulham are going to give Liverpool a run for their money before that game. And I also said that Liverpool are going to maybe win and feel like they're back or something. That's what I said. And I think that is actually what happened. Mohamed Salah scored on his first Anfield appearance since announcing that he will leave Liverpool at the end of the season, as the Reds beat Fulham 2-0 to strengthen their grip on the 5th. The Premier League top 5 are set to qualify for next season's UEFA Champions League, and Arne Slot's side remain in pole position to secure the final spot with youngster Rio Ngomoha setting them on their way to victory. Ngomoa's first Anfield strike was a delightful curling effort that gave Bernd Leno no chance, and Salah added a quick-fire second, netting his first home Premier League goal since November. Fulham also improved after the halftime and had several chances to face a nervy finale. But Rodrigo Muniz and Emil Smith-Rowe missed the clearest of them all, especially in all the chances that they got. And then the Reds are now 4 points, which is Liverpool, clear of 6th place Chelsea, with the Blues playing their game in hand against Man City at the Stamford Bridge on Sunday, which was yesterday as of the time of recording. But it is what it is. Like I said, Liverpool got that win to solidify 5th place, 4 points ahead of Chelsea, and Chelsea can't really get back. Then we moved to Sunday games, which was yesterday. Crystal Palace beat Newcastle 2-1, and it was a super interesting game to see, with Mateta returning to the lineup after scoring in Europe in midweek. I said that with Mateta scoring in Europe, maybe Crystal Palace might be tired, but then they beat a Newcastle side that seemed to find it difficult to get a win. Jean-Philippe Mateta came off the bench to propel Crystal Palace to a 2-1 comeback win over Newcastle. Mateta scored in Palace's 3-0 UEFA Conference League defeat of Fiorentina on Thursday, and he was the Eagles' hero in the contest at Selhurst Park. Newcastle hit the front through William Osula's close-range finish just before halftime, and Eddie Howe's team looked on course for a much-needed win in their first match since losing the Tyne-Wear derby. This was pretty much 24 days ago. Palace also went close to the equalizer as Jefferson Lerma crashed a header against the crossbar, but the pressure the pressure told when Mateta headed in Tariq Mitchell's clipped pass in the 80th minute to actually seal the win. Sven Botman's reckless pull on Ismail Assar's shirt handed Palace a stoppage time penalty, which the Mateta's goal sealed the goal, sealed the equalizer, and then obviously Palace stoppage time penalty, which Mateta duly slammed home to send Oliver Glasner's side into 13th place above Newcastle on goals difference, was what actually sealed the game. And Mateta was the man of the match in that one. And then we go to the next one, which is the one that I was looking out for to see what would be the outcome, because they were fighting for third spot as well. Nottingham Forest actually claimed another vital point in Premier League relegation battle after holding top 5 hopefuls Aston Villa in a 1-1 draw. So Nottingham Forest played a 1-1 draw after coming off a 1-1 draw at Porto in Europe. Vitor Pereira's side suffered an early blow on Sunday when Murillo's own goal handed Villa to a 23rd minute lead. The Brazilian inadvertently turned home Morgan Rogers' wicked cross, but Nico Williams responded for Forest at a sudden City ground 15 minutes later, fizzing in the near post past Marco Bizot, who was in as a late replacement for Emiliano Martinez's warm-up injury. Rogers and Oli Watkins both then spawned glorious chances in the second half to snatch a victory for Unai Emery's side, who remain 4th. Forest are now unbeaten in 4 league games after this draw and moved up the place to 16th, 3 points clear of Tottenham Hotspur in 18th after their defeat at Sunderland. Now, this is going to be super interesting, especially in that relegation battle. Forest getting vital point after bringing in Vitor Pereira, who used to be Wolves' coach. He saved them from relegation and is on the brink of saving Nottingham Forest from relegation. And then we go to the big one, Sunderland versus Tottenham Hotspur, basically. Roberto De Zerbi's first game, his debut with regards to him, his first game as a manager of Tottenham Hotspur, it ended in a disappointing 1-0 defeat at Sunderland, basically. And I said this in my match preview when I said that these games, basically, Sunderland seldom lose games, right? They seldom lose games. But this keeps, obviously, Sunderland seldom lose games at home. That's what I meant. So it keeps Spurs in the relegation zone, basically. Nodi Mukele's heavily deflected strike in the 61st minute, which came off the foot of Mickey van der Ven, was enough to settle a close encounter at the Stadium of Light on Sunday. Earlier, Granit Xhaka dragged an effort wide and Brian Brobby was thwarted one-on-one by Spurs' standing goalkeeper Antonin Kingski. Dominic Solanke also had the visitors' best opportunity on the stroke of halftime when he missed a chance. Spurs dropped to 18th on 30 points after West Ham United routed Wolverhampton Wanderers on Friday, and that is where they remain. The loss of captain Christian Romero to injury during this defeat was also a further blow, and Sunderland meanwhile sit 10th with 46 points after successive wins. Now the truth is, Sunderland are safe. They're not going down next season, this season to the Championship, so they're safe. But Spurs are 10 points away from Sunderland, literally 10 points away from Sunderland, 16 points away from Sunderland, 16 points, right? It's really, really, really tough to see, and it's one of those things where you have to kind of think about it from perspective of how is it possible that a team like Spurs will fall from glory like that. And the truth is, they just have to be relegated, because if they're not relegated, they will not understand the depth of what has gone on at the club. They will not understand. They definitely deserve to be relegated, because the truth is, they are the worst Europa League champions that we've ever seen to have made the Champions League through the back door of the Europa League after finishing 17th last season, and then now they're in 18th. Are they moving forward or they're moving backward? But it is what it is. We move on to the next one, which is the almost 3 of the last 3 games. So we'll go to the next one, which is the one that happened just a few hours ago. Man United 1, Leeds 2. This was very disappointing. As a Man United fan, it is absolutely disappointing to see this game. Leeds United picked up a vital win in the Premier League relegation battle as they defeated 10-man Man United 2-1 at Old Trafford. Noah Okafor's first half brace was enough to secure the crucial 3 points for Danny Farker's side, moving them 6 points clear of bottom 3, and handing Man United head coach Michael Carrick's first home defeat since taking charge. Okafor opened the scoring in the 5th minute before, getting his second just before the half mark, while Eo Tanaka missed a golden opportunity for a third. Lisandro Martinez was shown a straight red card in the second half for pulling Dominic Solanke's hair, and though Casemiro's header made things nervy, Leeds were able to hold off a wave of pressure from the hosts in the closing stages for their league victory at Old Trafford since their first league victory at Old Trafford since 1981. Carrick's men stay level on 55 points with Villa and just 3 ahead of 5th placed Liverpool, while Leeds remain in 15th spot after an important win in their battle to avoid relegation. So for me, I just feel like, Man United have just handed Leeds an opportunity to stay, and then giving them an opportunity to actually find a way to get 4 points from the last 2 games between both teams, a draw and a win against United. It is crazy. It is crazy what has gone on in this game. Now we go to the penultimate game, and it is Manchester City wiping the floor with Chelsea. As I said, it was going to happen. It happened, and I predicted a 3-0 win, and it actually happened. Manchester United slashed Arsenal's lead at the top of the Premier League to 6 points, as a second half masterclass led them to a dominant 3-0 win over Chelsea. After watching the leaders lose 2-1 at Bournemouth on Saturday, Pep Guardiola's chasers endured a frustrating first half at Stamford Bridge, but things changed dramatically after the interval as Ryan Cherki set up 2 goals for Nico Riley and Chelsea Academy graduate Mark Gahey in the space of 6 minutes. Jeremy Doku also then punished some loose play from Moises Caicedo to cap the scoring as City teed up next week's mammoth showdown with Arsenal at the Emirates Stadium perfectly. A win in this fixture will take Guardiola's men within 3 points of the summit with a game in hand. Meanwhile, Chelsea will remain 6th in the table, 4 points off the top 5. Now, the thing I want to say about this is that I think Man City will eventually, go up and probably win this league. And the reason why I say this is because they have a game in hand against Arsenal, on Arsenal. And even with that game in hand, they have an opportunity to actually, do something when it comes to, maybe when they face Arsenal, it could go to 3 points. And then when they play their game in hand, it could go level on points. And they just need to score 4 goals to be better than Arsenal on goal difference. And we could see Arsenal, finishing second. But then let's go to the Arsenal game, analyze it, and then we'll wrap it up from there. Now, to the Arsenal game. Arsenal started the Premier League weekend Saturday round of games with a 1-2 defeat to Bournemouth. This is another twist in the Premier League title race as Arsenal slumped to a 2-1 defeat to Bournemouth at the Emirates Stadium. This is them losing at home where they rarely lose, right? Alex Scott, capped a mesmerizing midfield performance by scoring the decisive goal in the 74th minute as Arsenal were punished for a largely lackluster display. Mikel Arteta's team had fallen behind to Junior Kroupi's goal in the first half, only for Victor Gyökeres' penalty to get them level with Ryan Christie's handball. Now, the Gunners also struggled to threaten from open play as the home fans grew frustrated, with Gyökeres missing their best chance for a second equalizer late on. Now, Arsenal remain 9 points clear of City before City played Chelsea, but now 6 points. And at that time, City had 2 games in hand. And basically, they have the game against Arsenal as well when the sides will meet in a huge game on the 19th of April, which is basically in 6 days after Arsenal has played Champions League and Matchday have had a whole week to rest. Bournemouth's victory also lifts them to 9th in the table. Bournemouth have been a bit of a hot and cold club and all that. What do you guys think? Like I said, have Arsenal bottled the league? Most likely, because in truth, there's nothing you want to tell me when a team. By the way, for the Bournemouth game, Alex Scott became the man of the match. There's nothing you want to tell me for a team that obviously had led the league for the most part from the beginning of the season and all of that, after that 1-0 win against Manchester United. And then at the end of the day, basically for them to kind of bottle it in the fashion that they have, in the manner that they have, is really, really disappointing and all of that. But it is what it is. I think that if Manchester City, like I said, win their outstanding games, they become level on points with Arsenal. And if Man City score 4 goals, they become higher than Arsenal on goal difference and all of that. And if if both teams win their games and Man City score more goals than Arsenal, then Man City could win the league and Arsenal could still finish second again for maybe a third or fourth season in a row. But it is what it is. What do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comment section. The next video you're going to be seeing is the Champions League preview, Champions League match preview, and it promises to be hot and interesting. Basically, we could see some potential remontadas coming. Well, yeah. What do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comment section. I'll see you on the next one. Take care, goodbye, and God bless.